Paltrocast.
How is your day going aside from, talking to media people asking you the same questions over and over and over again? Good?
Yeah, it's a good day. I'm getting ready to go play at Ricky Ratman's after party. You remember Ricky from Headbangers Ball,
How could you forget Ricky? I
yeah,
mean, the Charlie Benanti haircut that he stole.
right? So we're getting ready to go play at the after party. Cheetah Chrome from the Dead Boys is going to join me. Les Warner from the Cult is going to play drums. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be pretty cool.
That ties into something I want to ask you about before we talk about your great new EP, and that's how and when did you become a Vegas guy?
Dude, we moved here like a year and a half ago. Before that, I was living in Arizona, in outside of Phoenix.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, and the shift of music, it just made sense to come to Las Vegas because there's 100 shows here a night.
Yeah.
There's tons of rock stars that have settled here. Some friends of mine, Steve Stevens, Bruce Kulick, those are my boys. They're here. It just made sense. I didn't see anything really happening in LA for me anymore, and this place has some happening stuff going on. I mean, I don't play here that much. I have a residency, as you may or may not know, at
Yes.
at Backstage Bar and Billiards, a night with Micki Free, and I do that once a month. But most of the time, I'm playing. I'm getting ready to go to Australia next month for the Red Feather Film Festival, and then back again in November to the Red Festival in uh, Australia. So I play
Wow.
mostly out of the country, or not in Vegas proper a lot.
Right. I was trying to figure out the math of were you the first Kiss related person to wind up there, or was Kulick?
Kulick was way
Yeah.
before me. Yeah. And I think all the members of Kiss live here now. I mean, like Tommy Thayer lives here. Paul and Gene don't, but Tommy does, and so does Eric Singer and Bruce now. So I see him when we go out.
I'm
Crazy, right?
sure the tax filings of Gene and Paul say they live there, like smart people.
Probably, if you know Simmons like I know Simmons.
But back to you. Coincidentally, I saw Santana last night at Jones Beach, and
Wow.
half the people on your EP were playing last night at Jones Beach on stage, like Benny and all that. Do
Yeah.
the roots of your collaboration with the Santana people, does it go back to Cindy or does it go back to Carlos?
It goes back to Cindy. Like in 2010, after Cindy left Lenny Kravitz, she hooked up with me, and then I had a band called American Horse Trio, which was me and Cindy and David Santos from John Fogerty, Billy Joe, was a three-piece trio, and we did a lot of stuff, especially in England, and Cindy and I became really tight, really good friends. And one day she just told me, I got a new boyfriend, and she's smiling from ear to ear, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's good, that's good. She goes, I can't tell you who it is though. I'm like, what? Just talking like that. Then finally she told me it was Carlos Santana, and I'm like, what the hell? Because Carlos has been one of my childhood idols, man, forever. Like in
Sure.
my bedroom was a picture of Jimi Hendrix and a poster of Carlos Santana. So Cindy was instrumental in spearheading that relationship with Carlos. She introduced me to Carlos. I started jamming with him, became friends with the band, and all of 2023, man, I was across the planet uh, jamming with Carlos in New York and Vegas and California, and became really good friends. My wife and I, Heather, would go out to Kauai and visit Carlos and Tindy, and there's where we hatched the plan to do a project together. So, Cindy and I, she's always says, we got to do something together because she always plays outside Santana anyway. She has her own band, as you know.
Right.
And I said, okay, let's do another record, an EP or something. And I go, who are we going to get to play bass? And Carlos goes, Benny. Benny can play bass for you guys because Benny's fantastic. Benny's an amazing bass player, and he is.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah. If I can rudely interrupt you,
yeah,
Benny's bass solo last night was one of the only times I've seen a bass solo live that I was not bored to tears.
yeah. He's an amazing player, man. He's an amazing player, and so he got on board. Me, him, and Cindy are the nucleus of the project, and then Rhonda Smith from Prince's band played on a cut on there, "My Sweet Honey," very Princely-esque that track is.
Yeah.
And my longtime Hammond killer muggy dude from Buddy Miles's band played the piano and Hammond on it, and it was just fire to me, and we presented it to Carlos, and the first song he loved on it was Dreamcatcher. That's his favorite song with a Native American flute in it. Now that was like on a whim because it was supposed to be a
Hmm.
song with lyrics and everything, and I was gonna have Andy Vargas sing it from Santana, you know.
Yeah.
But then our schedules got too crazy, and so my wife goes up, why don't you make it into an instrumental? And I was just, oh, okay, and play Native American flute on it. So then that's what I did. And then I approached Ray Green, the other vocalist in Santana, to
Yeah.
sing The Devil's at Your Door. And he just killed that song, man. I love Ray. And that's my Santana story, bro. That's how I'm connected and, we'll be forever connected.
Yeah, your discography, your credits and all that. You are notoriously a very modest person.
Oh,
And if you just think about the last 5 minutes, we talked about your Kiss roots, then
yeah.
we talked about there's Prince ties, then there's Santana roots, and then you said Buddy Miles, which means Hendrix roots.
Yes. Yes. It's
So
crazy.
so the influences are all over the place in that way. But the career that you have now, where sometimes you're the side man, sometimes you're the front man, etc., was that where you were planning to be, back in the days of Smokehouse, or was it all a happy accident that you became the solo guy?
Well, in Smokehouse, we were three-piece too. So I was a singer and the guitarist in Smokehouse. And then what happened was Gene Simmons discovered me while I was in Smokehouse.
Yes.
Yeah. So then I came out to LA and, I hooked up with Gene. And then that band called Shalomar heard me playing in a rehearsal room, SIR in Sunset. And they, at that time, Prince was big time. He was huge.
The biggest, yeah.
And they wanted a Prince kind of looking guy to be Shalimar, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
so it's a great story. So I was like, I didn't know who Shalimar was, bro. I didn't even know who they were, because I'm a blues rock bass, guitarist, and Shalimar's an R&B pop band. And I said to Simmons, this band wants me to join them, Shalimar, and he goes, okay. So me and Simmons get in his Rolls Royce. We go to Sunset, uh, Tower Records on Sunset. We
Oh,
buy,
okay. Yeah,
and
I know
get
what you
ready, right? So get ready for this. We buy his cassette, their cassette. We put it in Gene's roller, and we listen to it. And I'm like, no way am I joining that band. I can't even relate to that music. I'm not going to join that band because Kiss Company with Gene was already, I had a record deal already in the works with
yeah.
EMI America. So that was a done deal. But Gene Simmons, being Gene Simmons, says to me, look, this band is super famous. They've got all these hits all over the world. They were huge in England. He says, why don't you join Shalimar? And the Kiss Company will negotiate a solo deal that you can do at the same time when you join Shalimar, so you can take out all your rock and roll blues stuff that you like to do. But if you join Shalimar, Gene said, it'll be like getting into a limousine instead of a taxi cab your first time out. I knew exactly what he meant. So I joined Shalomar. Dude, I'm instantly won a Grammy 2 years into it for Eddie
Yep.
Murphy's movie, Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes.
Shalimar went on to, dancing in the sheets. I crossed Shalimar over with my guitar playing and everything and dancing in the sheets for the movie Footloose. We crossed over to pop, and it was a good career. It was a very good career and a nice career move. But I was not known for really what I wanted to be, was a guitar player, was a blues rock guitar player, like
Right.
Henry, like Robin Trower, like Carlos, like, Eric Clapton, because that's where my soul is and spirit. So I did that for almost 2 decades, and then after that, I joined a group with my partner, Jean Bouvard from the Plasmatics. We did Crown of Thorns on Interscope, huge deal. And Gene and Paul managed us on Crown of Thorns. So after that hit its peak, and I left Crown of Thorns, and then I said, I'm just going to go on my own and do what I always wanted to do, and was just play blues rock. And so I got a couple of albums out. The last one was, excuse me, Turquoise Blue. I don't know if you
Mhm.
heard, but Steve.
I'm aware. I mean, you got Gary Clark Jr. on an album. He doesn't do a lot of cameos, so you're
No.
clearly special, Mickey.
Yeah, Gary Clark, Steve Stevens is on it.
Kingfish.
Yeah, Kingfish is on it.
Yeah.
Kills, man. That album was smoking. And so I'm just doing what I do now, and and play when I want. And, making this EP is just a labor of love. We know as in the music business, you're not going to sell any records, but like Billy Gibbons, another friend of mine,
Yeah.
says, that's, you know, making records is just like your calling card now. And he goes like this with his beard. It's just like
Yeah.
telling people what you're doing, And I said, yeah, it makes sense. So that's what it is. This is what I'm doing now. You can look out for us on the road. And so evolved Dreamcatcher. That's
Sure.
how it's called.
So basically, it sounds like your weakness turned into your strength in that you're so hard to pigeonhole because you go, is he a blues related guy? Then there's the Kiss stuff, the Prince stuff, the Santana
Yeah,
related
yeah.
ties. Of course, Chappelle's show made you a household name again because
Right.
of that skit and all that. Then you go, but he's winning all these awards related to his Native American roots. So
Yeah.
there's a blues guy, Native American guy, soul guy, an R&B guy, a hard rock guy because of Kiss. We don't know. So it goes from a certain point of what is this person to
Yeah.
he's him. That's Micki, and that's it. And you're your own cottage industry. Did I oversimplify the whole journey?
You got it so perfectly correct. When I in the late 90s, I had a record deal in England on Cargo Records. And the record company called me the inimitable Mickey Free. That's what they named me. And I didn't know
Yeah.
what the word meant. I had to go look it up. And I was like, can't be duplicated. I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. Because I'm in my own lane. You can tell when you hear my guitar who's playing it. I've got my own lane, basically. I've got my idols, you know. Dude, I was playing Kiss when I was like 15, 16, 17 years old. Those were my guys. And then I meet them and then they manage me. So think about that story you know and yeah, and this record is very eclectic, this EP, because I took a little card from Gary Clark Jr. he
Mm-hmm.
sta- he started off being a blues guy too, a blues
Yes.
guy. Then he just crossed it over, man, and now he's got blues, funk, rock, rap on his records.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is, you know a little bit of bluesy jazzish, I would say, with Dreamcatcher, and then straight up blues rock with
Purple.
Nightcrawler, yeah, straight up blues rock. And then
Yeah.
We Are One is just like a inspired John Lennon dream that I had. And, I wanted to make that song for the universe, you know. And then the song with Rhonda on bass, My Sweet Honey, is straight up Princely infused funk rock, which is pretty
Sure.
crazy. And
So
so that, go ahead.
So to rudely interrupt you for the umpteenth time right here, when somebody comes to see your Vegas residency, do they get a lot of the solo material, or does it depend on who the special guest is? What does a set list look like as somebody who's been playing big
Yeah.
stages and clubs on and off for 40-ish years?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's called An Evening with Mickey Free, My Life Through Songs and Music.
Sure.
So the set list consists of mostly my originals dipped in with Hendrix, even Prince, a Prince song we throw in there, uh,
Yeah.
a couple of Rolling Stone songs because Bill Wyman is a good friend of mine from the Stones. He played with me when I played in London. We played,
Wow.
yeah, oh yeah, we
I,
played.
I, I say the wow because Bill Wyman doesn't leave the house much. So when he commits to the London trip to come to the stage, because he retired in what, 89,
Yeah,
90?
yeah.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Well, we were playing over there at this really huge festival in 2010 called Hard Rock Calling. And I think we were supporting Aerosmith, and it was a 3-day festival, man. And all the biggies were there. And so I opened the show on that Sunday, and Bill Wyman was introduced to me by, again, little Steven from Bruce Springsteen's band, who's a good
Sure.
friend of mine. Yeah, who produced one of the songs with us in Crown of Thorns. He introduced me.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
I,
Steven
I
did.
didn't know that. I knew about his time producing Michael Monroe and Demolition 23, but I didn't know he did Crown of Thorns.
Yeah, he
Wow.
did. Well, John Beauvoir and I and Paul Stanley produced that record, really. But then Steven jumped in and he did a re-release of one of the songs. He introduced me to Bill Wyman. Henry Smith, Aerosmith's old tour manager, was my tour manager at that time. And
Yeah.
he knew Bill too. So we go over to Bill's house for dinner. Me and Bill hit it off. And I go, would you jam with me on Sunday? And he goes like this, oh yeah, sure. It's already on my website. I planned on it anyway. Just like that. And I'm like, So stoked, dude. I mean, fucking Bill Wyman with the Stones. That's like royalty, you know?
Yeah.
So Bill comes out, we do Jumpin' Jack Flash in Red House by Hendrix, and it's so freaking quiet. It was 100,000 people there, 100,000 in Hyde Park. We do Red House, a blues song. You could hear a pin drop. You could freaking hear a pin drop. The people were so attentive. And then we smoke Jumpin' Jack Flash. And Bill and I are still friends to this day. I love him to death. I'm probably going to get over there and see him either the end of this year or next year because you know he's up there in age. He's up there.
Sure.
Yeah, and I love him to death, man. And I want to see him before, we both enter heaven, you could say, you know,
But while you two remember who each other are.
right?
You
Right?
know?
It's rough out there. You know that it's rough in this world.
For sure. Yeah. A lot of these Jones Beach amphitheater concerts I go to, I go, this could be the last time I'm seeing this person. You might as well.
And it's true too. And it's very true. I mean, to me, after Aerosmith is gone, that's the last of the true flamboyant rock stars. There's no one else to me that has that swagger, that has that, rock
Yeah.
vibe. They are the biggest to me. Their show is amazing. Again, Joe Perry is one of my good friends. I love Joe. I've taken a couple concerts and seen Aerosmith and hung out with Joe backstage and Johnny Depp. Dude, you don't have enough time to hear my stories, actually. You know, Johnny Depp is Johnny. So Johnny's playing. Ronna Smith introduced me to Jeff Beck. Uh,
Oh,
yes, right before he passed away, it broke my heart, man. 2 months before Jeff passed away, my wife and I met him at two shows. We became pretty nice friends. I gave him a nice piece of turquoise jewelry because he loves Native American stuff. I gave
sure.
Johnny, I gave Johnny Depp one too. And I said to Johnny, me and you are cousins, bro. And he's like, what? I, I go, yeah. Remember when you feel the Lone Ranger, Time to the Lone Ranger? Remember that in 2005? He goes, yeah, yeah. He was adopted into the Comanche Nation by my sister's sister. So Comanche way that made me and Johnny cousins. And we laughed about it so hard, bro. He goes, yeah,
That,
you're right.
that sounds like Samoans, how every Samoan you meet is cousins with each other. So all
Right.
the Comanches are cousins. Lesson
That's
learned.
how it works.
Well, you're correct where there's not enough time in the world for all the stories. So eventually we'll tape a part two, part three. We'll talk about Mitch Schneider, how great he
Oh,
is,
yeah, he's my man.
unofficial mayor. But I've got one question, and it could be clickbaity, but I don't know the answer to this.
All right.
So were you ever almost under a management deal or auditioning for David Lee Roth as a lead guitar player?
Never, never. I loved David too in those days. I knew him. We used to hang out together at like American Music Awards and stuff like that in the 80s. When I got to LA, Van Halen had just dropped their record, everybody was freaking out over Van Halen. But I got a story for you.
Oh,
Before
please.
they before they even dropped their record, Gene was managing me, and Gene played me their demo tape in his penthouse in New York, and probably 1978 or something like that, and showed it. He's at this band called Van Halen, and it was like, damn, Eddie Van Halen was just super, superstar. But I got to tell you, man, David Lee Roth, in my opinion, was probably, the best frontman in life during his heyday. You couldn't touch him. The guy was amazing. His sense of humor, everything, everything. I dug him. But no, I was not. I don't even know what I was doing then. I think I was in Shalomar. You know,
Well, there was a period where he was trapping everyone. I shouldn't say trapping. He was signing people to management deals, whether or not he was actually a manager. So you found out that Jeff Young from Megadeth was one of them, that Blue Saraceno almost wound up one of them. So I
yeah.
thought there was a chance that Mickey Free was almost a Roth guy.
No, that would have been too crazy because we would have been like dead because I'm kind of crazy like David Lee Roth in those days. But no, I respect him even to this day. He's funny as hell, man. So there's the answer to your question.
There's the answer to my question. So congrats on the new EP. Congrats on the still really exciting residency, and really looking forward to whatever's to come, whether you're the featured guy, you're the side guy,
Yeah.
whatever it is, Mickey, keep it up.
Well, Mickey Free is never the side guy, bro. Just so you know. That's something Gene Simmons would have said to you.
Something else he would say
Of
is,
course.
go with Gene, you get the green.
Right? Oh, I like that about him. Go with Gene, you get the green. All right, man. Nice to talk to you.
Paltrocast.